Hello, my name is Maddox Rose, and my topic is whether gym class should be mandatory in high school. My thesis is gym classes should be mandatory for all students in high school because regular physical activity improves academic performance, physical health, and mental health. There are two sides to this issue. One side argues that PE should be optional because it takes time from academics. Not all students benefit equally, and many programs are poorly run. My side argues that mandatory gym class is essential for student health and actually supports academic success. The side furthest from me is against mandatory PE. Three main arguments are made against requiring PE. First, it takes time away from core subjects. The No Child Left Behind push schools to raise test scores, and PE was the first thing a lot of schools targeted to put more time towards academics. Second, not all students benefit equally because students with disabilities or performance anxiety might not find PE helpful, but rather pretty stressful. And the third argument is that programs are simply not effective, or at least many of them are. Coe found that the average 55-minute PE class had only 19 minutes of intense workout. The best source for this side is Coe because it's super honest about PE, the problems with it, and I use it greatly for fueling my recommendations for my paper. And the side closest to me is for mandatory PE. The evidence supporting mandatory PE covers three main areas: academic performance, physical health, and mental health. Raspberry was my main article for academics. It analyzed 251 associations between physical activity and academic performance across 50 studies, and over 50% of them were positive. 48% of them, or something along that, was against it, and 2% was negative. Only 2% was negative. So schools that cut PE to improve test scores are only hurting their students. They lose out on physical health with nothing to gain academically. And physical health. The CDC recommends 60 minutes of daily activity for children aged between 6 and 17 and identifies schools as the primary institution for helping students meet that goal. The American Heart Association also pointed out that lower income students don't have a place outside of school to get physical activity. And this is kind of terrible because if you can't work out, you won't work out. And many of these students don't have a place other than school to do so. And Andermo found that school-based physical activity reduces anxiety and improves the mental well-being of children. And mental health amongst teenagers is a growing problem in recent years. And PE is one of the best tools schools can use to fix it. My favorite source for this side is Trost and Vandermars. Their article confronts the idea that cutting PE helps academics, and it reviews 5 different major studies proving that it only helps education and doesn't hurt it, and it creates a pretty strong argument. And it's really the most complete source I had. And the recommendations for the future, I recommend that schools should have flexible PE classes with multiple different classes offered, not just one competitive class that focuses on things like dodgeball. And grading should be based purely on effort and not pure athletic ability. And teachers need proper training because many of these teachers are just, let's say, a football coach who needed to pick up a class, and they're not properly trained to handle your average student. And schools should be held responsible to meet the CDC standard of 60 minutes of daily activity and not just encouraged to meet it, because when they're encouraged, they don't focus on it. When they're forced to do it, they do a much better job. And the data is pretty clear that PE does not hurt academics. It only supports them. It reduces long-term health risk while also improving healthy habits among students long-term. And there's no good trade-off for it. Schools should require it, fund it well, and design it to work for everyone from all backgrounds. And I was really happy with my topic. I had a strong opinion going in with my experience with PE and sports. I've played football for 10 years, and when I am physically active, my life, my mental health, and everything is much better. So not only does the evidence from all my studies point towards that, but I've also experienced it myself. And the source was pretty consistent. Sources were consistent. They made my argument pretty straightforward. And my advice to any other students is you need to pick something that you care about already, because this is something that I'm very passionate about. And the research is a lot easier when you actually want to know uh, what you're researching.